listening to OutQ in the Morning with Larry Flick on Sirius OutQ 109.
Oh my God! Wait, Keith, can I say it for once? You're so stupid.
Oh my God! You gotta let it out, though. You gotta let it out. If you're thinking something, you just gotta say it.
Ooh, America!
I can't take you. Yeah, that's what, Keith. I can't take it. You're so stupid.
Stupid, Larry Flick. You're stupid.
I'm sure I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, you're fucking angelic.
It's I am angelic. It's 6 past the hour. Don't look me in the eye. No, I'm kidding. 6 past the hour. I'm Larry Flick here at OutQ in the Morning. Sirius OutQ 109. Keith Price is here. So is Cynthia. Our toll-free number is 866-305-6887. And, what?
Nothing. We're just happy to be here, aren't we, Keith?
Because you never know what I'm going to say when you all leave the room. Oh, my God. So we have a lot going on today still on this Monday, October 27th. By the way, write it down. This Friday, Halloween, October 31st, we are going to give you a treat. The reunited LaBelle are going to be in this studio. All three of them, Miss Patti LaBelle, Miss Sarah Dash, and Miss Nona Hendricks.
Oh, Lord.
They're going to be stopping by to talk with us. We have a whole hour with the ladies of LaBelle to talk about their new album, Back to Now. That is going to be some cute stuff. Because we've had Patty on the show, and she's crazy. We've had Nona on the show, and she's very scary. Scary crazy.
She made you get on your knees and kiss her boot.
So now I've met Sarah many years ago, Sarah Dash, but she's never been on before. So we're going to have all three of them here. It's going to be crazy.
Insanity.
That's going to be, no tricks on Halloween, just a big old treat in the form of the reunited legendary LaBelle. And then actually before that, for your week here at OutQ in the Morning, Wednesday, the return of Queer Factor, the Food Challenge, where I face off against our good pal and amazing comic, Brad Loakley, on mystery food items.
God. I'm so glad it's y'all. Because that will make me hurl
and again, I still subscribe to the belief, as I said during the electroshock trivia Queer Factor, that it is Cynthia's best because Cynthia's preparing the food. Well, she's gathering the items.
I'm gathering the items. I'm not preparing.
No,
anything.
because every time Cynthia's cooking,
not every time.
I get the cracks.
One time that happened.
My birthday.
And it was canned stuff, so you can't even blame
on
me.
My birthday.
It was the trucks.
On my birthday, I had to run out of the studio for 10 minutes.
Good Lord.
Dropping bombs over Beirut.
Yeah. Okay.
They had to put in a new bowl in the fourth stall after I ate your taco pie.
Made with canned goods and Doritos, and I'm the bad guy.
Obviously spoiled, Keith.
Canned stuff that I bought from the friggin' store.
So here's the thing. So I subscribe to the belief, Keith.
I don't do canned
Blew out the men's room, Jesus.
Keith's like, that's my job.
Keep the door clear. No. I'm a firm believer that if something terrible happens to me, the show goes away.
No, but I would never do that. Anyway, I would never do that.
And Cynthia likes her job.
Yes, I do.
So she will not murder the golden goose.
No. But I will say
this. But she's going to give you the trucks instead.
I will.
Okay.
Well, let me just say this.
I'll just shit on her desk. Brad and I have decided that we're going to just poo on Cynthia's desk.
That's hot.
If she gives us anything.
Well, no, because there's one particular item that I'm desperately trying to find that I cannot be held responsible, but it is purchased in a store. A normal store.
All right, no, it's fine. I know what I'm going into. So So Friday, the reunited legendary LaBelle. Wednesday, during this hour, the Return of Queer Factor to Food Challenge, where I face off against our favorite guy, Brad Loakley.
And Thursday will be live from the ER.
If you tune in on Thursday and hear a best of, you'll know why.
Got the best of you.
All right. So now, this is going to be fun. One of my favorite folks to have join us on our little morning gathering is a really terrific guy. He's one of those obnoxiously upbeat, happy dudes, and he's in Illinois. He's a life coach and a choreographer and an author, and I hear he likes a little hot fudge. His name is Daved Beck. Hey, David.
Good morning, everybody. You guys are alive this morning.
Yes, we are, baby. How are you, David?
I'm fabulous, and you guys sound great. So, do I need to ask how you are?
We're doing very well. Now, David is here to talk with us this time about intimacy. You know, so many people are worried about the economy. They're worried about this, blah, blah, blah. But if we have a happy inner life and happy life in terms of intimacy, a lot of things will fall into place, won't they?
Absolutely.
So now let's take this from the beginning. Intimacy doesn't always just mean sex, does it?
Absolutely not. We'd like to think it does. But actually, the way I define intimacy is into me I see. Into me I see, and it's really about our personal truth and speaking our personal truth, whether that be our wants, our desires, and just where we want to go in life.
And so, because if we're in touch with our own intimate selves, again, we become more appealing as the partner of someone in an intimate way.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because if we're speaking our wants and our truths to ourselves, and we're recognizing them, and we're saying, hey, yeah, actually, I do want this, and we're taking the steps, and we're going for what we want, and creating our dreams and manifesting them, we're actually building confidence. And isn't confidence one of the biggest major turn-ons, if you will?
It is. It is. And again. Oh, okay. Daved Beck, obviously getting some lately. But seriously, it really is like dominoes falling in a positive direction, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you start with yourself and you get in touch with the deepest part of yourself and you sort yourself out, then you become a more open book, if you will, to other people, right?
Absolutely, and with intimacy, you know, and speaking our wants and our desires and the truth of ourselves. So often, fear is going to come in and say, "No, you're going to look selfish," or "No, you're going to look stupid," or "You're going to fail." Well, truth is, there is no such thing as failure, and that's just fear. Fear is wanting to keep us stuck and safe and not speak our truth. And
Right.
If we're not speaking our wants and our desires, then how are we connecting?
Makes sense. Daved Beck, our life coach here at OutQ in the morning, where our toll-free number is 866-305-6887, talking about intimacy, or into me I see. So let's take this from the beginning. When you want to get in touch with that part of yourself, what's the first thing we should be looking for, David?
The first thing is a willingness to speak your wants. And now, again, I will say, well, what do you want to my clients? Well, I don't know what I want. I don't know.
It's a hard question to answer because David and I are online. You know, we talk online as friends, and every once in a while he'll ask me that, and I'll say, I say the same thing. Like, I don't know.
No.
I want money. I want sex. And he's like, okay, well, that's helpful.
Into me I see.
So, because isn't the hardest thing for most of us to do is to put voice to what we really are deeply thinking, feeling, and desiring?
Yes, because, oh my gosh, we would be speaking our truth, and if we're speaking our truth and we're speaking our wants, well, then how does that make us look to the rest of the world? I believe and know to be true in my experience that our number one fear in humanity is rejection.
Oh, sure. And being laughed at.
Absolutely. And what if they're not really laughing at us? What if they're laughing at the joke? Or what if they think of something funny in their mind and that's what they're laughing at? But we take it so personal and make it all about us.
Mm. So what would you say from your experience as a life coach, when you ask someone this question and they're able to answer it, and they're able to actually give you an answer, what's the most frequent answer you get?
Well, first, let me say, a lot of the times I'll always get, I don't know. And my reply is, and I invite all your listeners to do this if they say, I don't know, what if you did know? What is, if you could think of anything, if you could wave a magic wand, what is it that you want? What is it that you are seeking? What will make you happy, if you will?
Mm-hmm.
And if there's something outside of us, if it's an expectation, okay, great. Well, what do we need to do to get to that? What are some steps that we can create for ourselves into getting what you want?
Okay. And you know, it's so funny because on one hand, David, that sounds very deep. But on the other hand, it sounds so simple. And we trip over the most commonsensical things, don't we, David?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So now when people find an answer, when people are actually able to answer you, I'm curious to know, what do you hear more than not?
Oh, what do I hear more than not?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I've had clients say, I want sex. I've had clients say, I want money. I have clients say, I want friends.
Mm.
I hear it all.
I'll bet.
When, you know, let's take the sex, for example, since, you know, many of us, I don't know about you, but for me, in the past, intimacy used to mean sex.
Sure.
You know, if I want love, I've got to have sex.
Right.
And really, it's going to the intimacy and saying, are you speaking your truth? Are you sharing about yourself and your desires? Or are you showing up and that's the first thing that's on your mind is, okay, let's go at it. Let's go. And for me, and for most, that's a turnoff.
Well, right, because even when people say they want just a full-on carnal experience, nobody wants to be treated like just a soulless lump of flesh, do they?
No.
Even I mean, and that's even when your intention is to just have sex. Mm-hmm. You want to at least be acknowledged as being a valuable sex partner. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. So, how would you suggest someone who's just looking for sex? We're going to take the three things you mentioned. If someone comes to you and they say, for me, intimacy is a bigger, stronger, more active sexual life. How would you advise them to proceed from step one?
I ask questions, and my next question would be, well, what does sex give to you? What are the benefits of sex? And then I would also ask, what are the costs of sex? If we're looking for just to have sex, well, what does it give to you? Some may say, well, it's a warm body, or I want to feel as one with somebody. Okay, well, if you want to feel with one as someone, how are you communicating with them? How are you talking with them? If you want to be one with someone, how are you actually then in their mind?
And also, if someone says, I want to be one with someone, that's not really sex. I mean, it's more than it's.
Absolutely,
it's sex as a result of a much deeper connection, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you can't. I've had, I'm 45 years old. I've had a very full sex life. I've never felt at one with someone that I was just having sex with. It just has never happened, and I've had plenty of good experiences. It's just that at one feeling comes with someone that you are either in love with or you feel like you can become in love with.
And then that at one, I give my clients a breathing exercise. If they have a mate, I give them a breathing exercise to where they just sit, and I'll start with fully clothed and lay hands on top of hands, and then just look at each other in each other's eyes and breathe with each other. And that actually creates that energy that we're looking for and that stimulation.
Because talking to Daved Beck, our life coach here at OutQ in the morning, when people say they want more sex, aren't they generally saying something else, though? They're not really looking for more sex. They're looking for They're looking for something else.
They're looking for connection. They're looking for the bottom line of intimacy. They're looking to share their wants and their desires. They're looking to be accepted. And the only way to be accepted by another is if we're accepting ourselves. And if someone's just wanting sex, I actually just go, okay, go relieve yourself in the bathroom and then come back to me and talk to me and then let's really get down to it.
Because the bottom line is, for no matter what, sex is easy to find. No matter where you are, what you look like, what your gender or sexual orientation is, if you really just want to get off, it's not that hard to do. It really is kind of what you're willing, how far you're willing to go. But what people generally, when they say they want more sex, what they're really saying, I think, is they want more of a connection with people. Don't you think? Because
absolutely. It's connection, and it's building. There's so much that goes into it. There's trust, and there's the connection, and there's the doing with each other, not just the actual act, the holding in the hands, the embracing.
Right. So that if anyone's listening right now and they're thinking intimacy equals a heightened sexual life, then what you really need to do is ask.
Call me.
Okay.
How you doing?
Because Daved Beck is very cute. But also to really start peeling the layers back and ask, what does that mean? How does it feel when you have sex? What are you really looking for? To kind of really continually ask yourself the question why.
And also, it's tracing it back. I don't believe in going back to the past and staying there. However, our past shares our experiences and what we have done and our fear responses and all of that. So trace it back. Think back to the times when you've had sex. What'd you get out of it? What were the benefits? And what were the costs? What were the costs? Did you wake up to nobody in bed with you? Did you wake up and leave the person behind?
Hard questions.
There could be, if you've left the person behind and just left, then there could be the fear of intimacy, the fear of connection, the fear of baggage, whatever it is.
That's really deep. It really is. Talking to Daved Beck, our life coach here at OutQ in the morning. Now let's move from sex to intimacy within friendship, which is also now that's the thing that's tricky for me. Because I'm a very distrusting person, and because in my sexual life I'm happy because I have a partner and we're good. In my friendship life, less so because I have the kind of career that provides for people if I allow it to, and so I don't trust most of the people who come toward me. And I think a lot of people, whether you have the kind of job or life that I do, I think more and more people these days are less trusting.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Agree. And it does go back to, well, then how much do we trust ourselves?
Right.
And I've been thinking about this a lot as well with where my career is going and the type of person I am and who would come out of the woodwork.
Sure. Sure, because what happens is you have, even looking at something as headline-oriented as the Jennifer Hudson piece, so much of what happened there from just pure assumption and reading between the lines is someone wanting something from her or her family that they weren't necessarily going to get. And so, do you see what I mean?
Absolutely. And when when we have challenges and challenges with trust, it really is our opportunity to then, well, where are we in setting boundaries? Where are we in, when we say yes, who are we saying yes to? Are we saying yes to another, or are we saying yes to ourselves? Whenever we say yes, we are saying no to something or someone. So is that no to us? So it's really becoming clear on what personal boundaries are.
Right.
And then when my most recent discovery is when the boundaries, when they kind of get crossed and it feels like, okay, well, what is this? I believe that's actually when clarity comes in, is when the boundary becomes blurry, and it's like, well, are we friends? Are we coworkers? What are we? Well, that's what I believe is intimacy. We have built that connection to where we've been communicating. We've been sharing about ourselves. We've been talking with each other. We've been connecting, not just human to human, but soul to soul.
And so the question, again, goes back to some of the questions that we were talking about in terms of, your intimate singular self, and then sexual intimacy can apply here as well, can't they?
Absolutely.
So it's really what you want and I think the most important question, I never thought about it until you said it today, David, what's the cost? That's a big question, David. That's a huge, as Oprah would say, that's my light bulb moment today. What's the cost of what you want? That's a hard one. That's a hard one to answer too, isn't it?
It is, because if you're like me, for me, it comes down to really there is no cost. If it's something I want, then I'm willing to risk whatever it is to have it and go for it. But if the cost is my personal peace of mind, my integrity, that's too much to lose, and I'm not willing to do that. If I have to lie, cheat, or steal, or whatever it is, I'm not going to do it, because that's my personal integrity.
And then that's how you can discern if the person you want in your life as a friend, as a partner, as a sexual playmate is worthwhile pursuing, if you can examine what the cost is to have them in your life.
And, if you have someone in your life that you just feel every time you're around each other and you feel so drained, or they're always wanting something from you, and then my guess would be really look at your costs and really examine them. And if you're always feeling drained, or if you're always maybe hurt, look at that and be willing to ask yourselves the questions, and then are you willing to go and communicate with this and say, hey, this is how I feel when this happens? So oftentimes when we're in communication with another, we start our conversations with, well, when you did this and when you did that, well, then what we're doing is blaming. So a very important piece to creating intimacy with whoever is always speaking from the I place. I feel this when this happens. Leave out the you, because whenever we say you, the other person could be triggered, and there's a underlying tone of blame, and we never want to blame, because we're the ones that are taking action.
You know what? David Beck, you have turned us out today.
Yes, you did.
And so here's what I want to do with you, Mr. Beck. I want you to come back either tomorrow or Wednesday and continue this conversation. And let's open it up so we can take some calls about it as well, because we have a. I think we all need to kind of think on it for a day or so, because this is really big stuff.
Fabulous.
This is really, really big stuff. So David Beck's going to be with us. We'll sort it out probably tomorrow at some point during our program to continue our conversation. David Beck is, as you can tell, a very astute life coach, and
Yes, Lord.
You can find him on MySpace, myspace.com/evolutionnl, or he's on my top friends list on my MySpace page, myspace.com/Larry Flick, and we'll have him back to dig into this a little bit deeper, because that was like a lot. And if we kept going, I think we would all start getting a headache. So let's all marinate on a little bit. We'll have him back. We'll review, and then we'll take your calls on this. I think this is really powerful stuff, because I'm still thinking about the cost.
Yeah.
I am. I'm still thinking about when you want someone in your life, what's the cost? That's big.
Versus what's the payoff?
Right, because we're always looking at the payoff.
Right.
And we don't think about the cost until the bill's in front of us. Think about it. That's huge stuff.
It's too scary.
That's really, really big stuff. So we're going to talk with Daved Beck more. Let's get him on for tomorrow. And stick around, because when we return, we're going to introduce you to a pair. I think you already know who they are. They're called Josh and Sarah. They're from Here TV. Stick around.
866-305-6887. OutQ in the morning with Larry Flick on Sirius OutQ 109.